Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV, here to bring you an update on the latest in the surprise rebel offensive in the Syrian Civil War. Rebel forces have made further gains today and have been spotted in the city of Hama, Syria, but there are some conflicting reports on whether they're still there and how many of them are there and whether they've pulled back from Hama. So we're going to get you an update here and take some of your comments and questions on the air. You can give me a shout on X at Lookner is where you can reach me at Lookner on X. So give me a shout over there. And let me get organized here. And I appreciate our moderators. Ruth Krafasi and Carms are here. And also, Roberts Mayqueen over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X. Sabrina is here on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Over there on Twitch, A Moment of Lovely and Surly Dev are there. And thanks to True Venom for subscribing on Twitch. I appreciate that. And let me thank our Facebook moderators as well. We have Kay Lowry Body and Valerie Gale Griffin are moderating over there on Facebook. Thank you so much. Margaret Riley as well. Thank you. I want to show you guys the live UA map, which is a good map, which I'll put the link to this in the chat. Okay. Live UA map. And they have this map of Syria that they are updating. And what you can see is, if you go here, see there's Hama. So see this green arm stretching down? That really wasn't there yesterday. As of Wednesday, this was in the area that, this was the border of the rebel-controlled area, the dark green right here on Wednesday. Since Wednesday, they've taken this and this. You can see there's a bunch of Aleppo. Reportedly, most of Aleppo is now in rebel control here. So, but also now you have rebels moving down the M5 highway, and reportedly some rebels are in Hama, which is the city here. You can see there's Hama, and then there's Homs, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, and then Damascus is down here. But they all lie on the same highway. I'm going to put a link to this map in the chat. It's really good. It's called the Live UA map. And I appreciate them letting me show it. And you can look at it. It also, on the map, you can toggle on and off. They have different news updates that they post on the map. See, look at that. Like they just posted that there were Russian airstrikes reported on the outskirts of the city of Al-Bab, east of Aleppo. So you can go to this map and you can pull up the news events that they have, and they have links to them. It's very good. So check out Live UA map. But again, that arm coming down since yesterday here, and some rebel forces reported in Hama. So we'll get you some specifics here. Hey, thanks to the Shark for the gift memberships. That's so nice of you, DeShark. Wow, thank you. Thanks for being a member. Thanks, Baby Blue Sky. Who started the conflict? Well, I mean, the Civil War has been going on since 2011. There were initially some popular uprisings in 2011, and it became an armed conflict, and it's been going on since 2011. About the Civil War displaced about half the country. Millions of people fled the country. And it was pretty dormant the last few years, but the surprise offensive started on Wednesday, perhaps not coincidentally the same day as the Hezbollah-Israel ceasefire. You know, two of you might say, why is this happening now? So a common thought is that it has something to do with the fact that two of the Assad regime's biggest backers in Syria are Russia and Iran, and especially the Iranian-backed Hezbollah group. Well, Hezbollah has been greatly weakened by the Israeli war on Hezbollah the last few months. So they can't help Assad nearly as much as they used to be able to. And Russia can't help Assad as much as they used to be able to because they are involved in their invasion of Ukraine that's been going on for years. So their two biggest supporters are greatly weakened. And maybe that is why this offensive has been undertaken and has been so successful so far. All right, let's get you some updates here on what is going on. And I want to keep checking while we're on the air. Oh, you know what? I have a clock, too, that I got to get up on the screen. Let me just do that real quick. I forgot to do that. I have it up there when we're showing stuff. We'll put this here. We'll put this here. And we'll put that. Okay. Oops. Let me fix this. Yeah, it's 11:31 p.m. Syria time. It's almost midnight there. I just saw an interesting post right before I came on the air. I think Michael Horowitz posted it. Let me see if I can get that for you. Yeah, Michael Horowitz, who I follow, he quoted a report from Step News Agency, which I'm not familiar with. I guess he's familiar with them. Let me show you what Michael had to say. Michael said, oops, you'll see it in a second. Michael said, first sign the opposition offensive may be slowing down. Source below, Step News Agency reports opposition fighters have actually withdrawn from Hama and are regrouping in the countryside amidst arrival of regime reinforcements on the outskirts of the city. So I don't know if this is true. You know, there's a lot of stuff floating around right now. I mean, there were a bunch of unverified social media posts today claiming that there was fighting in Damascus and widespread gunfire in Damascus, and these were not well-sourced reports. And then it turns out that there's better source reports saying that stuff is just false. For example, hold on a second. I had one of them here. Kim Gattas, for example, who is with The Atlantic, had posted this. She said there was some footage floating around showing the Four Seasons in Damascus, and I guess claiming there was like fighting going on or gunfire. Spoke to a friend in Damascus. He can see the Four Seasons from his window and said, this is old footage. The area is quite quiet at the moment. So you got to be careful. I mean, there's all these people post rumors and stuff, and they post it as fact. So I'm not hearing about any kind of big goings on in Damascus right now. So I'll certainly let you know if I hear reliable reporting on that, but I'm not at the moment. W. Selak says Twitter is going crazy with Damascus, Syria videos. Again, you know, it's like whenever there's a big event, big news event, breaking news, a lot of the times you have people posting stuff on social media and a bunch of it turns out to be old video or whatever. So, you know, again, take stuff with a grain of salt. A lot of these, you have a lot of accounts which are not news outlets, and some of them regularly post stuff which ends up being wrong. So I would be careful with what you're looking at. Okay, let's get an update here about what is going on. Hold on here. I'm going to show you something. And we'll take some comments from you guys. It's like the articles aren't even updated because it's been so... the things are kind of happening fast. This is an article from today that says Syrian rebels sweep into Aleppo, which happened yesterday. Russia conducts strikes in support of Assad. But from what I'm hearing, Russia has not done a lot in support of Assad. Hold on a second here. Hey, thanks to PZ Papa Zulu for the gift memberships. Thank you also to JM, our new member. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And let me take a few comments here. Hold on a second here. Give me one more second. Hang on. Charles Kenwright says, who benefits from this fighting in Syria? I mean, this is a good question. You know, there's this question of like, where's this all leading? Could the Assad regime actually fall? If it does, who would take over? The most prominent of the rebel groups is this group that has past ties to Al-Qaeda. They're actually a U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization. They're known as an Islamist fundamentalist group, but they've tried to make themselves a bit more moderate in recent years. So, I mean, there's lots of questions about where this is all leading and how it might change and impact other countries. I don't have good answers for you on that. Maybe we can talk some more about that in a little bit. Give me 1 second here. Oops, hold on a second here. All right, let me show you a little something here. I'm going to have a video too. You can see here, Reuters says the Syrian army said today dozens of its soldiers had been killed in a major attack by Islamist group, rebel group, HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham rebels, who swept into the city of Aleppo, forcing the army to redeploy in the biggest challenge to President Bashar al-Assad in years. Russia's defense ministry said its air force had carried out strikes on Syrian rebels in support of the country's army. The strikes followed what was the boldest rebel assault for years in a civil war where front lines had largely been frozen since 2020. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, once known as the Nusra Front, is designated as a terrorist group by the U.S., Russia, Turkey, and other states. Assad is a close Russia ally. A spokesperson for the U.S. State Department said the U.S. is monitoring the situation. The war, which has killed hundreds of thousands of people and displaced many millions, has ground on since 2011 with no formal end, although most major fighting had halted years ago after Iran and Russia helped Assad's government win control of most land and all major cities. Aleppo had been held firmly by the government since 2016. Since their victory there in 2016, one of the war's major turning points, when Russian-backed Syrian forces besieged and laid waste to rebel-held eastern areas of what had been the country's largest city. A rebel fighter. So yesterday, as part of their shocking, very fast-moving offensive, rebels moved into Aleppo. A rebel fighter said yesterday, "I am a son of Aleppo and was displaced from it 8 years ago in 2016. Thank God we just returned. It is an indescribable feeling." The Syrian army acknowledged the advance and said insurgents had entered much of Aleppo. After the Syrian army said it was preparing a counterattack, says Reuters, airstrikes targeted rebel gatherings and convoys in the city. The pro-Damascus newspaper Al Watan reported. Overnight images from Aleppo showed a group of rebel fighters gathered in the city's Saadallah al-Jabiri square with a billboard of Assad looming behind them. Images filmed today showed people posing for photos with a toppled statue of Bashar al-Assad, the late brother of the president. Fighters zipped around Aleppo in trucks and milled around in the streets. A man waved a Syrian opposition flag as he stood near Aleppo's historic citadel. Again, this offensive just started on Wednesday. The rebels also took control of Aleppo airport, according to a statement by their operations room and a security source. Two rebel sources also said the insurgents had captured the city of Marat al-Numan in Idlib province, bringing all of that area under their control. The fighting revives the long-simmering Syrian conflict as the wider region is roiled by wars in Gaza and Lebanon. But there was just a truce there starting on Wednesday. With Assad backed by Russia and Iran and Turkey supporting some of the rebels in the northwest where it maintains troops, the offensive has brought into focus the conflict's knotted geopolitics. Fighting in the northwest had largely stopped since Turkey and Russia had reached a de-escalation agreement in 2020. So again, big development today. That's a little from Reuters. I'm going to show you a video from them in a moment. But this is the live UA map. So again, we're talking about Syria. There's Iraq here, there's Israel here, there's Lebanon right here, Jordan, Iran is over here, there's Iran, there is Turkey up here. And what you can see is, this is the red area is the area of Assad regime control, which before Wednesday was about 70% of the country. This yellow is a Kurdish area here. This is, I have a, I actually have a different map I'm going to pull up here to show you real quick. That's the live UA map I was just showing you, but just to give you a lay of the land kind of thing. Take some more comments from you guys. Right here, this is the one. Oops, where is it? This is from Congressional Research Service. Yeah, so this map was from a couple of years ago, but basically, this is basically the idea of, this is basically where things were at before Wednesday. So you had, yellow is Syrian Kurds and aligned forces. Green here is Syrian government and aligned forces. This is Syrian opposition and extremist groups. This is where here in Idlib, this is where the offensive has originated from. The dark blue is Turkish military and aligned Syrian militias. And down here is U.S.-backed Syrian opposition. But what's happened is, in the last couple days, you've had, get my pen out. Where's my pen? Here it is. You've had the rebels move into Aleppo, and today, and they've also gone down, and some of them were reported in Hama, here. And that is reflected in the live UA map, which is more current than this map that you're looking at. And the live UA map shows you that, here's live UA map. See, so you have in this map, you have Aleppo. Most of Aleppo is in green now under rebel control. And rebels today have been moving down towards Hama, down here. How far will they go? Unclear if they will take Hama anytime soon, the rebels. Or will the regime try to defend Hama? Gladius Pack says it is a blitz. Renewal Realm says the rebels are like mixed factions. Yeah, there are a bunch of different groups in the rebels. It's a confusing story. There's a lot of details here, and I'm not an expert on the region. I'll do my best, but there's a lot of complexities. Parsa says the Kurds started to expand and defend in their direction. So I've heard of different reports of like the Islamist rebels from over here making advances, and then Kurdish groups up here doing some fighting as well in different areas. And making maybe some advances. I'll try to give you more updates on that, but it's different groups. It's not all one group. I'll see if I can get you some updates on that. Steelbreed thinks the rebels want to establish an ISIS-like government. Say goodbye to Christian minority when they do. That's what our viewer Steelbreed says. Thanks, by the way, very much for tuning into our coverage. We're going to give you some more updates. I might have a video I can play you in a second. Hold on. I believe I do. I believe I can show you a little news video. Oh, this is good. This is a good video. I have a video from Reuters, an update video from the article we were looking at, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Before I do that, a quick thank you to Pat W., our member. Marnie, thanks for the gift membership. Marnie, I appreciate that. Ermi T gave 20 people gift memberships. That's really generous of you, Ermi T. Make sure you thank somebody if they give you a gift sub or a gift membership. Thank you, Ermi T. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Ori Deckel. The mods can tell you how to become a member. Thank you, Ori, for all your support. QK Scope JFK, thanks for being a new member. Steve Ward and DeWatchman. Yeah, we mentioned Russian airstrikes a short while ago. I don't know, from what I'm gathering, from everything I've read, Russia is not really strongly getting involved right now. Some experts have seen their response as kind of weak at this point. They're very tied up with Ukraine. I don't know how much resources they have to spare to defend Assad. We'll talk more about that. Let's see here. All right, let me show you this. I'm going to show you guys something. So I was just showing you a little of this article here. Syrian rebels sweep into Aleppo. Russia conducts strikes in support of Assad. So let me show, I got a video for you from that article. Check this out. Let's watch this. This is a Reuters video from the article. Let's play this for you. See if this works.
8 years after being forced out by Bashar al-Assad and his allies, Syrian rebels were again roaming the streets of Aleppo on Friday. Over the past week, opposition fighters have carried out a surprise sweep through government-held towns. Now, this rebel says Aleppo has been completely liberated. The attack, led by the militant group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, is the most significant challenge to Assad in years. The front line of the Syrian Civil War has been largely frozen since 2020. But on Saturday, Syria's military said that dozens of its troops had been killed and that rebels had managed to enter large parts of Aleppo. Syrian and Russian warplanes are targeting rebels in a suburb of the city, according to 2 Syrian military sources. They also said Russia had promised to send extra military aid to thwart the rebels, which would start arriving in the next 72 hours. Assad recovered full control of Aleppo, which had been a rebel stronghold, in 2016. That was with the support of Russian air power and Iranian-backed Shiite militias. The commander of one rebel brigade said the opposition fighters' swift advance in recent days had been aided by a lack of Iran-backed manpower in the wider Aleppo province. Iran's allies in the region have suffered a series of blows at the hands of Israel as the Gaza war has expanded through the Middle East. Opposition sources also said that Turkey, which backs the rebels, had given a green light to the offensive. Turkish officials were not immediately available to comment.
So that was from Reuters. One of our viewers, North Vale, says, so it's Israel's fault. Well, a big factor is seen as Hezbollah, which was a big supporter of Assad, has been greatly weakened by the war against Israel. You know, the Wall Street Journal actually said, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal that said they thought that that was the most important factor in this happening. To just read you a little something that the Wall Street Journal said, and they had an article today. And the headline of the article is "Setbacks for Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah Turn into a Catastrophe for Syria's Assad." They say that Assad and Syria is dependent on enfeebled allies. And they said in the article, this Wall Street Journal article claimed, the most important factor behind Assad's loss of Aleppo is the rout inflicted by Israel on Hezbollah. Hezbollah used to be the most capable infantry fighting on Assad's behalf. But now Hezbollah has been greatly weakened by all of the attacks on it by Israel. So that's a big factor here. Thanks to Berenico and Anmir Danesh for being a new member. Thanks, Anmir. Hi, it's me, Marge, says the Mideast is a complete mess. Again, if you want to get the live UA map, which I am sometimes looking at, I'm going to put the link to that in the chat again. I'll put the link to the map again in the chat for those who want it. I got to keep checking for updates too. Breaking developments today. Flor Morena says, all of this war happening simultaneously is incredible. Fantasy says, will Assad use gas weapons again? I have no idea. Crystal L says this is all so incredibly confusing. Yeah, it's not simple there. Hey, thanks to Fired Up Gaming for being a new member. All right, give me a moment. Let me just check if I have the last couple minutes any new updates for you. Where is this coming from? Live UA Map Middle East said that the Syrian army said, we will soon move to the counterattack to reclaim all areas. Oh, that came from Sky News Arabia. Sky News Arabia says that the Syrian army says, we will soon move to the counterattack to reclaim all areas and liberate them from terrorism. Again, the red area is the government-controlled area. Aleppo, these two, the biggest parts of the advance, well, the most important parts of the advance have been the advance into Aleppo area and the advance towards Hama. Hama is here. So they're saying they're going to respond, the Syrian army. Okay, let's see what else I can pull up here. Give me a moment. They said they will soon counterattack. So might we see some kind of more strong resistance by the Syrian army in the coming days? We'll have to see. Could we see, some more intense fighting? Jennifer Caffarella says, Hama looked like it was on the brink of falling earlier today, but it is not right now. And she quoted somebody who I'm not familiar with, but she's with the Institute for the Study of War, who said that Hama is solidly in Assad's hands, and that the regime is bringing in more forces to Hama. So there were rebels reportedly in Hama today, but they have not taken Hama. Our viewer Erect Isle Dysfunction thinks lots of Syrian army are moving to Hama right now. Is that true? I don't know. I honestly just don't know if it's true. Oh, I bet I can show you this statement here. Give me 1 second. I bet I can show you their statement. The Syrian Ministry of Defense released a statement. Can I get to their website? If I can get to their website, maybe I can find the statement. I'm trying to get to their website. It doesn't seem to be working. Let's try it this way. Oh, hold on. I have something from the Syrian Ministry of Defense. I got it. I got the statement from the Syrian Ministry of Defense. Look, hold on. Check this out. It's the Syrian Ministry of Defense Facebook page. I guess they're on Twitter as well. I got it. We're going to have to. Oh, they don't really know. They're not posting on Twitter. I just looked it up. They're posting on Facebook. Okay. Here's their post. This is the post from the Syrian Ministry of Defense. 27 minutes ago. Armed terrorist organizations continue to broadcast fake news across all their platforms in the context of an organized media warfare aimed at impacting the morale of our people and our valiant army, says the Syrian Ministry of Defense. Taking advantage of the recent field events that took place in Aleppo, and some international and Arab media focused on transmitting all news regardless of their health, these organizations have worked to broadcast a massive amount of fake news and rumors targeting a number of Syrian cities. The General Command of the Army and Armed Forces is conning our people not to turn to those paces. I think conning is probably, I think that's more like, it's probably a bad translation, probably like telling our people or recommending that our people not turn to those pages or believe the news on their false platforms. Our valiant army was and will remain a firm and steadfast present to perform its duty, defending the homeland and citizens against all forms of terrorism and its supporters. The General Command of the Army and the Armed Forces confirms that the operation to counter the terrorist attack is going on with success and determination, and will soon move to counterattack to recover all regions and liberate them from the abomination of terrorism. So they say they're going to counterattack soon. Will there be a big counterattack soon? I don't know. But that's what the Marsha G says sounds like propaganda. Twitchy Bomb thinks they are liars like Iran. But again, that is the statement from the Syrian Ministry of Defense. Winthorpe says, so the terrorists don't like terrorism. Thank you, by the way to Peanut Brain of the West, who says they heard that SDF Dyer Ez Zoyer is clashing with regime. Thank you, Peanut Brain of the West. Thank you also, Lidwine Elizabeth. Could the timing of this suggest Israeli involvement? I have not, let me put it this way. I follow lots of people who know about the region and are experts about the region. Not a single one has claimed that the reason that this is happening now is that somehow Israel is making it happen. Now, whether Israel or anyone else supports rebel forces, I don't know. Look, there's plenty of countries that are involved overtly in Syria. I mean, Russia has a big presence, Iran, Turkey. So U.S. has some soldiers there in southern Syria. So would it surprise me if Israel has ties to rebel groups in Syria? I don't know. Maybe they do. But also remember, this group that's leading the rebellion, HTS, is known as an Islamist fundamentalist group. That's a U.S. government designated terror group. So I don't think Israel's that close to them. But I'll just say, my guess is that no, this is not happening because somehow Israel's making it happen, because not a single expert of all the ones I follow, and it's a bunch, and read about, has suggested that. So could they and other countries have all sorts of involvement, covert involvement in Syria? Sure. But no, I don't think this is somehow happening now because Israel is making it happen. That's my thought. But thank you for asking, Lidwine Elizabeth. I appreciate that, and thanks for your support. So you asked about involvement. I mean, what can I tell you? But I don't think the main impetus is coming from Israel. I think the big role that Israel plays is that they have greatly weakened Hezbollah, which has been widely cited as a big reason this is happening, because Hezbollah was a big supporter of the Assad regime, and they have been greatly weakened, so they can't fight for him the way they did before. Sorry. All right, let me see if I have other updates for you here. Anyways, that's the Syrian Ministry of Defense. We just read that. So I'll have to keep an eye on their announcements. Hang on. We are bringing you live coverage, a live update on the situation in Syria. Rebels have conducted a surprise offensive since Wednesday, which has moved quite fast. They have reportedly taken most of Aleppo. Aleppo up here. Oops, as I look at the live UA map here, there's Aleppo there. So they've taken this whole area here. There's Aleppo. And then they've been moving down today towards Hama. And at one point, they have been reported, some rebels have been seen in Hama, but they have not taken Hama. Damascus is down here in the south. So there's this question, will they take Hama? And then after that, would they take Homs? We'll have to see what happens. So we are bringing you the latest updates here. I'm checking. I kind of keep checking for new updates as we go along here, and taking your comments and questions for the year on the air. At Lookner on X is where you can reach me. And sorry, I'm jumping around from thing to thing because I want to take some more comments and stuff. Give me a second here. Eric V thinks it could help Ukraine if Russia helps Assad. I mean, so there's this, I understand it's an interesting question about whether if Russia helps Assad by sending resources to Syria, could that help out Ukraine because it's less resources to fight against Ukraine? It's a good question. I don't have the background to really know what they might or might not send there and how that might impact their military effort in Ukraine. I have seen a number of analysts suggest that they can't help Assad that much because they're tied up in Ukraine. But it's an interesting question to keep an eye on. Thanks, Eric V, for writing in. And then Muka sent me a report from Thomas Van Linge, who said that regime forces are at the northern entrance to the city of Hama. Yeah, there's been some reports that there were rebel forces in Hama, and then some reports that they've backed off from Hama for the moment, and that there's some regime forces in Hama. I'm not really clear what's going on there, but we'll have to see if there's a big fight for Hama. And there was reportedly a big fight in the Ohio State-Michigan football game. Crazy. I just reposted something from that on my X account. I'm not going to cover that right now, but a big fight after the game with players fighting on the field and police trying to break it up in the Ohio State-Michigan football game. That happened. Dwight H.M. thinks it wasn't that big of a deal. If you go online, you can find a bunch of footage from it. All right, hang on a moment here. Let me show you something else. I want to see what the Economist has to say about this too. I'm sure that'll be interesting. We'll look that up in a second. This is from AP here. Syrian insurgents are inside Aleppo in a major setback for Assad as government forces regroup. This is from today, but a bunch of these articles today don't even mention Hama, because that's been going on in the last few hours. But this is actually the citadel, isn't it? I think this is the citadel in Syria. I think. I'm not sure. In Aleppo. This says Syrian opposition fighters burn government Syrian flags for the cameras next to Aleppo's old city. No, there's no live streams I don't have any live streams from Syria. If I do, I'll show them to you, but I don't have any. I might have some video from earlier today, actually. That I need to look up. I'm going to look that up. Give me a second here. Takes a second. Let's see. I'll do a little search here. I have an aerial video. Syria's Aleppo. Okay, let me just download that so I can show it to you guys. I'm downloading a couple videos. that I'll show you in a second. But I don't have any live video from there. Okay, that's done. All right, let's look at this for a second. AP says thousands of Syrian insurgents fanned out inside the city of Aleppo in vehicles with improvised armor and pickup trucks. In pickups? I think they mean vehicles with improvised armor and pickup trucks, deploying to landmarks such as the old citadel today, a day after they entered Syria's largest city, facing little resistance from government troops, according to residents and fighters. Witnesses said 2 airstrikes on Aleppo's edge late Friday targeted insurgent reinforcements and hit near residential areas. A war monitor said 20 fighters were killed. Syria's armed forces said today that to absorb the large attack on Aleppo and save lives, it has redeployed and is preparing for a counterattack. The statement acknowledged that insurgents entered large parts of the city, but said they have not established bases or checkpoints. Did they post another statement earlier? Let's see. Yes, so look, this is 3 hours ago. This is from the Syrian Ministry of Defense 3 hours ago on Facebook. They said, there is no validity for the news that the pages and platforms belonging to the armed terrorist organizations have transmitted about their entry into all these different towns, including northern Hama. They say they haven't actually gone in there. They say our armed forces have organized a reinforced defensive line in full readiness, preparedness, and high moral spirit to counter any potential attack. So they say that there are not rebel forces in northern Hama. I guess that's northern Hama. Maybe is there a Hama region maybe they're talking about? Hama is a city. No, but Hama is also a city and a region. So my guess is that these different cities are in Hama region. But they're claiming that, the military keeps claiming that a lot of these reports about the rebel advance are false. Here's another source from another post from the Syrian military from 4 hours ago. In accordance with the news published by the armed terrorist organizations through their platforms, websites, and some media channels about the withdrawal of the Syrian army from Hama, we assure you that the units of our armed forces are based in their locations in the northern and eastern countryside of the Hama region and are fully prepared to counter any potential terrorist attack, as well as the friendly Syrian and Russian military aviation targeting terrorist gatherings, movements, and supply lines. They keep calling the rebels terrorists. Okay. And here's this is 11 hours where they talked about this protective, retreat, I guess you could say it is. This is from 11 hours ago, but I think it's interesting to read this. The Syrian army said, over the past few days, the nuclear-armed terrorist organizations, I don't know why they're saying a nuclear-armed, under the so-called Victory Front, the terrorist organizations backed by thousands of foreign terrorists, heavy weapons, and large numbers of marching aircraft carried out a wide attack from multiple axes on both the fronts of Aleppo and Idlib, and our armed forces carried out fierce battles against them at various points of clash, stretching over a band of more than 100, maybe miles or kilometers. How much to stop their progress, and during the battles, dozens of our armed forces were killed and others injured, so they're admitting that. Large numbers of terrorists and multiple conflict fronts have prompted our armed forces to carry out a deployment that aims to support defense lines in order to absorb the attack, preserve the lines of civilians and soldiers, and prepare for a counterattack. I don't know if that means that they're saying that they retreated to establish defense lines. It's a little confusing. As the influx of terrorists through the northern border continues and the military and technical support for them intensifies, the terrorist organizations have, over the past hours, been able to enter large parts of the neighborhoods of Aleppo without being able to establish their focus points by continuing to direct our armed forces to concentrated and strong strikes as the arrival of military reinforcements and the distribution of them continues on combat axes in readiness for a counterattack. The Army and Armed Forces confirms the action it has taken is a temporary one and will serve by all possible means to ensure the safety and safety of our people in Aleppo, and it will continue to perform its national duty, blah, blah, blah. So I think, it might be a little bit of the translation might be a little off, but I think this is where they say that they pulled back a little bit 11 hours ago, if I'm reading this right. So, but, they say that they say the rebels are terrorists and they're supported by so they have a lot of foreign fighters, they're claiming, with all this foreign support, and they say they're going to counterattack soon. So I just wanted to read you some of that stuff from the Syrian Ministry of Defense that they've been saying today. Yeah, see, this is, AP said, I believe, of that statement, Syria's armed forces said in a statement today that to absorb the large attack on Aleppo and save lives, it has redeployed and is preparing for a counterattack. The statement acknowledged that insurgents entered large parts of the city, but said they have not established bases or checkpoints. Insurgents in Aleppo were filmed outside the police headquarters in the city center and outside the Aleppo citadel. They tore down posters of President Assad, stepping on some and burning others. The surprise takeover of Aleppo is a huge embarrassment for Assad, who managed to regain total control of Aleppo in 2016 after expelling insurgents and thousands of civilians from its eastern neighborhoods, following a grueling military campaign in which his forces were backed by Russia, Iran, and its allied groups. Aleppo had not been attacked by rebels since 2016. The 2016 battle for Aleppo was a turning point in the war between the Syrian government and rebel fighters after 2011 protests against Assad's rule turned into an all-out war. The offensive came as Iran-linked groups, primarily Lebanon's Hezbollah, which has backed the Syrian government forces since 2015, have been preoccupied with their own battles at home. We know Hezbollah has been greatly weakened in its fight against Israel. Let me just check something here. These photos. Show you a couple photos here too. So this is a photo of Syrian rebel fighters burning Syrian government flags next to Aleppo's old city. That's today. This is a Syrian fighter shooting in the air in downtown Aleppo today. A Syrian opposition fighter. Vehicles burn after an airstrike against opposition fighters. Ooh, that supposedly is vehicles burning after an airstrike against rebel fighters in Aleppo. Our viewer, Tanks a Lot, says, looks taken over to me. A Syrian opposition fighter takes a picture of a comrade who is stepping on a portrait of Syrian President Bashar Assad. That is in Aleppo, early today. Syrian opposition fighters warming themselves in Aleppo late last night. Syrian opposition fighters patrolling the streets of Aleppo today. Opposition fighters riding along the streets of Aleppo today. More of them. Opposition fighters hold up their guns as they pose for photos under a billboard depicting Syrian President Assad in Aleppo. An opposition fighter poses with an opposition flag in front of a police station in Aleppo. Look at that. Opposition fighters step on a picture of Syrian President Assad in Aleppo last night. Impulsed says opposition or terrorists. The Syrian government calls them terrorists. Hey, by the way, thanks to Crazy Yoda, who says, is it true rebels were attacking Aleppo with no plans to actually capture it, but the Assad government troops surprisingly retreated, so they took it? I don't know. I was talking about this on the stream last night. I don't know if the rebels expected to advance so far and so fast and so far in this offensive. We were reading some articles yesterday where there was a rebel general was quoted as saying like that the purpose of the offensive was basically just to stop these airstrikes that the government and I believe Russia had been doing on rebel areas. But it didn't say the goal was to take over all these cities. So I do wonder if this is a case where this offensive had more modest goals, but has just done better than it thought it would. I do not know. I might be able to get you this quote from yesterday. Yeah, I mean, here, this is interesting. This is from yesterday in AP. It says here, Turkish security officials said Thursday that Syrian opposition groups initially launched a long-planned limited offensive toward Aleppo, where attacks targeting civilians in rebel opposition areas originated. However, the offensive expanded as Syrian government forces began retreating from their positions, the officials said. The original aim of the offensive was to reestablish the boundaries of the de-escalation zone, according to Turkish officials. Now, I don't know if that's true, but it's possible that this was supposed to be that the offensive was not supposed to do all these things that it's doing and take these different areas. Thank you, Dean R., for being a member. Thank you also, Peanut Brain of the West, for your suggestions on follows. Thank you. Also, thank you to Marnie and Rick D. Thanks for your support, Marnie and Rick D. And Jesse's Girl. And Captain Jerry Donnelly. Hang on a second here. Captain Jerry Donnelly, Google says that Syria's major exports include cotton, olive oil, nuts, phosphates, and spice seeds. Before the war, oil dominated their foreign trade. I don't know how that has how exactly their oil oil exports have been impacted over time. It's a good question. Google AI says Syria's oil exports have been impacted by the country's civil war and international sanctions. Yeah, according to CEIC, Syria crude oil production is like roughly a tenth of what it was at the start of the civil war. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if we can get you some more updates. You can reach me on X at Lookner. Now, this is unconfirmed. Recep Soylu, who is a journalist I follow, he claims that the pace of Russian airstrikes near Idlib in Aleppo countryside tonight has increased. Those would be Russian airstrikes against the rebels. I can't confirm that. And again, there are some reports that rebels were in the city of Hama. There were a number of reports of that, but then pulled back. So I'm not really clear what's going on with Hama right now. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights posted something. That is an organization which does reporting on Syria. I believe they're based in the UK. Hang on a second here. Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. A UK-based information office who has focused a lot on the Syrian Civil War. There's a Wikipedia article about them, but they just posted something. If I can pull it up here, I'm trying to get to their post, their website. It seems kind of busy right now. Bunch of websites I'm trying to get today not working. Oops, maybe something will happen here. Here's the live UA map, by the way. JS says, RT saying the rebels are using Ukraine and NATO weapons with the help of their intelligence services. Well, I haven't read that myself. However, RT is controlled by the Russian government. So I would not be surprised if the Russian government is claiming that that a group opposing a Russian-backed regime is being supported by the West, even if it's not true. So I would take that with a grain of salt. So I just got this report. I just saw this report from the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. They are saying that in the Hama region, Syrian regime forces have rearranged their military positions and installed new points on the outskirts of the city of Hama and its northern countryside. And they're trying to prevent entry or infiltration by the rebels. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says the Syrian military has sent large reinforcements to the area, and they continue to go there. So again, that is a report from the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which you often see quoted in different news outlets. But what they're saying is that that the regime has brought in reinforcements to Hama. And it sounds like, if that's true, that they're making it a point of defending the city of Hama. And I guess other cities and towns in that region. See, it says Hama Governorate, Hama region. But that's something to keep an eye on. If I zoom in there. Jose Gonzalez said SANA reporter, Sana reporter. I think that Syrian state media confirmed northern Hama is still under SAA control. Again, this is from that map is from Live UA Map. But so are we going to see some big battle for Hama? What's going to happen there? Hama is one of the larger cities in Syria. As I mentioned earlier also, Michael Horowitz said, who is an expert I follow, geopolitical analyst, he said, first sign the opposition offensive may be slowing down. He said that about a report that opposition fighters have withdrawn from Hama and are regrouping in the countryside amidst arrival of regime reinforcements on the outskirts of the city. So that's something to keep an eye on, because I was seeing some speculation that maybe Hama would fall today and they'd go right into Hama, the rebels. That doesn't seem to have happened from what we're hearing. Shockingly says population near 1 million. According to Wikipedia, Hama is, population around 1 million, the fourth largest city in Syria after Damascus, Aleppo, and Homs. Homs is south of Hama. Hey, thanks, by the way, to Lidwine Elizabeth. Thank you, Lidwine Elizabeth, and Jen Xer, and Dean R. for being a member. Peanut Brain of the West, thanks again. And a reminder, you can get this map at Live UA Map. This map has updates on where the rebels are, and it's updating pretty regularly. Also, they have different news items here where they try to they show you where they get the news items from, so you can check the original source. I'll post a link to this map in the chat. I really appreciate them letting me show it here. But you can go there to check on some of the latest reporting. You just got to be, I mean, you know, and like, you know, even some of the more reliable sources are just posting it's breaking news. So, you know, in a breaking news situation like this, it can be hard to get exact information. You know, because we don't know unless you're there. You don't really know what's going on, like when about in terms of like how many forces are in Hama, where in Hama are they, you know, when it's a developing situation. But I know they try to post reliable sources. But if there's some kind of big development, I wouldn't just rely on one source, because eventually if it's happening, you'll see it being reported multiple places. Let's see here. Oh, I was going to mention The Economist, which I like. They have an article out about, I want to see some of their analysis. Their article is called Syrian Rebels Sweep into Aleppo, up here. Here's Aleppo up here. In an embarrassing rout for Assad. They say here Assad will not be able to count on help from Russia and Iran, his closest allies. They point out that it took 4 years, back in the 2010s, it took 4 years for Assad to take Aleppo from the rebels, but it fell in less than 4 days. They say that the offensive has been led by, The Economist says the offensive is being led by HTS, a former Al-Qaeda affiliate that broke with them in 2017. The Turkish proxy group, called the Turkish-backed group, the Syrian National Army, has also fought for the rebels. They also pointed out that another one of these towns that the rebels have taken is here, Sarakib, and it lies on the M5 highway, which runs, the M5 highway, the main north-south highway there, runs all the way from Damascus down here, through the city of Homs, through the city of Hama, up to Aleppo. And see, it says Sarakib there. And The Economist says that the rebel control of Sarakib will make it hard for Assad to deliver reinforcements to Aleppo from the south. They also point out that the Kurdish, a mainly Kurdish militia, SDF, backed by America, which is, you can see up here in the yellow, where's key? It says Kurds, YPG, YPJ, SDF, PKK. But the Kurds, The Economist says, are trying to expand their own territory as well. The Economist says the rebels have made good use of drones in this offensive. And they point out how when Assad in the 2010s put down the rebellion, largely put it down, his main backers were Russia and Iran, but both of them cannot support him the way they did before. Hezbollah has been really hurt in its fight with Israel in recent months. And also, Russia is heavily involved in Ukraine. The Economist thinks that Assad's allies won't abandon him completely, but Russia will not, for example, be able to provide the same amount of assistance they used to be able to. The Economist article thinks that the Syrian army will focus on holding what territory it has and not taking back what it has lost. This is very interesting. Here's something interesting. So as I told you, the group HTS, which is the leading rebel group in the offensive, they are an Islamist fundamentalist group, and they have past connection to Al-Qaeda, but they have tried to moderate themselves in recent years. So The Economist says, how will HTS behave in the areas it now controls? The Economist says in recent years, its leader has tried to smooth the group's rough edges. HTS ran a reasonably professional government in its area of control, and it has sought to reassure Christians and other minorities that they had nothing to fear from it. But the Economist points out there are plenty of radicals in HTS's ranks. So, what will it look like if HTS, this group that has been this, group we've been talking about, controls Aleppo? Will it be a Islamist fundamentalist government that cracks down on minorities and takes away lots of freedoms, or will it not be so much that? Don't know. And also, let's see here. Anyways, it just points out there are a lot of questions here. We don't know where this is all going. We don't know how much territory the rebels will take. As the Economist says, we don't know if other parts of Syria will revolt. They say, the Economist says, some activists fantasize about opening a second front in the restive south. They say, but a serious rebel operation on the south would need help from Jordan, which will be wary about conflict on its border. Jordan is right down there. So we don't know where this is going. We don't know how well the rebels are going to do. How strong will the defense of the Syrian army by the Syrian army be? How much will Russia jump in and help Syria, the Assad regime? A lot of questions here. Let me read some of your comments. Anyways, you can check out the Economist article today if you want. It's Syrian rebels sweep into Aleppo in an embarrassing rout for Bashar al-Assad. Oh, thanks to Mama of 6 for your support. Also, Gen Xer. Thank you. Our viewer Wildcat Mahone says, never trust an Islamist group. Ty McFadden says, I'm rooting for whomever can take Assad out of power. Artist Caverlin thinks surely Israel is concerned about this development. I mean, Israel is no fans of the Assad regime, but, like them in other countries, you have to be concerned, okay, well, if the Assad regime were to fall, what would come after that? Space Fraggle thinks Trump will bring peace bring peace to Syria in the Middle East. Nikki Newark says, I'd rather have Assad than most of these groups. They all sound like proper terrorist groups. Assad seems more modern than some of them, more moderate than some of them. Let me see if I have more updates from you. Thanks, by the way. Hey, thanks so much to Janice McConnell. I really appreciate that. Janice McConnell, thank you for your support. And also Ori Deckel. Hey, thanks, Ori, for all your support. Very much appreciated, Ori Deckel. Also, shout out to our moderators. We have moderating right now Ruth Krafasi, Beth Mythical, Roberts May Queen, on YouTube, Linda Belk and Larry on X, on Twitch moderating right now, A Moment of Lovely, Big Ball of Yarn, McBritches and Surly Dev on Facebook, K. Lowry Body, and Margaret Riley, Ronald Egnor, thanks so much to our mods. And also, one of our viewers said, Eric Voss says, would HTS be like Taliban if they were ruling Aleppo? We don't know. We don't know what it'll be like. It's a good question. Then another, David Griffin, our viewer, said, Syria is on the road to being a fractured country, no putting it back together again. Yeah, I mean, the rebels, I mean, the government has been, it's been a bit fractured. The government has been in control of about 70% of the country. But could the country, could we end this with the rebels in control of Aleppo and some other cities? And then other than that, it kind of stays the same as it was before? Good question. One of our viewers said something like, will this lead to more refugees going to Europe? Another good question. I mean, I would think depends on how much fighting there is and how much disruption there is. Hassel DeHoff says that Assad isn't even in Syria right now. Well, he was in Russia, but I believe he's back in Syria. I believe, I'm not sure. I thought I'd seen reports today that he was back there. But don't hold me to that. I'm not positive. Let me see if I can find anything about that. Let me check a couple things here. Hang on. TJ Adams says his plane went back. Oh, there's an update from AP I'll show you. We'll have to check this out. Habibi Pai says, will this affect Lebanon in any way? That I can't tell you. I mean, it's right next to Lebanon. It's on the border with Lebanon. Syria has allowed Iran to bring weapons to Hezbollah through Syria. If somehow that wasn't happening anymore, that could make it harder for Hezbollah to rearm if they tried to do it. That'd be one off the top of my head. I'm certainly not an expert in the region. But if you look at the live UA map, for example, you can see there's Syria and Lebanon is here. There's Lebanon here and Iran's over here. So actually, you know what I'll do? Hold on. Let me pull up a Google map. It'll be a little easier to see on that. Here, I'll show you this. So there's Iran. See, Iran is here, and Lebanon is over here. So Iran has been using Syria to bring weapons to to supply Hezbollah and Lebanon with weapons. And often, regularly, Israel, for example, will launch strikes on Iranian-connected targets in Syria, for example, to prevent them from bringing in weapons to Lebanon. So if there were some kind of new regime in Syria that did not have the same relationship with Iran, it could make it harder for Iran to supply Hezbollah if they're going to continue to do that. What was I? Oh, there was a new report I was going to show you. This. After entering Aleppo, Syrian insurgents advanced to a nearby province. Assad says he'll defeat them. Thanks to Kevin L., our member, and Space Fraggle. Thank you, Captain Jerry Donnelly, for your support, who says, is this about freedom or economic resources, not religion? That's what Captain Jerry Donnelly says. So you can see here, AP says thousands of Syrian refugees took over most of Aleppo on Saturday, establishing positions in the country's largest city and controlling its airport before expanding their shock offensive to a nearby province. They faced little to no resistance from government troops, according to fighters and activists. A war monitor to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, who I talked about, said the insurgents, led by HTS, seized control of Aleppo International Airport, the first international airport to be controlled by insurgents. Thousands of fighters also moved on, facing almost no opposition from government forces, to seize towns and villages in northern Hama region, a province where they had a presence before being expelled by government troops in 2016. They claimed Saturday night to have entered the city of Hama. So we've been talking about that. Hama is right. You can see this green arm here. That shows the advance today, the last couple days of the rebels. But you can see there's Hama right there on the live UA map. But there's a number of reports that regime forces are now in northern Hama and defending the city. AP also says, the swift and surprise offensive is a huge embarrassment for Syria's President Assad, and raises questions about his armed forces' preparedness. The offensive, launched from their stronghold in the country's northwest, appeared to have been planned for years. It also comes at a time when Assad's allies were preoccupied with their own conflicts. In his first comments since the start of the offensive, released by the state news agency Saturday night, Assad said Syria will continue to defend its stability and territorial integrity against terrorists and their supporters. He added that Syria is able to defeat them no matter how much their attacks intensify. And then Turkish security officials said a limited offensive by the rebels was planned to stop government attacks and allow civilians. Yeah, see, Turkey, a main backer of Syrian opposition groups, said its diplomatic efforts had failed to stop government attacks on opposition-held areas in recent weeks, which were in violation of a de-escalation agreement sponsored by Russia, Iran, and Ankara. Turkish security officials said a limited offensive by the rebels was planned to stop government attacks on opposition-held areas and allow civilians to return, but the offensive expanded as Syrian government officials began to retreat from their positions. And as I mentioned, as we talked about, Syria's armed forces say they are planning a counterattack. I mean, I think a big question right now in the coming couple days is what happens with Hama. Because it looked like the rebels might take it, but now we have reports that the government, that the state forces are defending it. What's going to happen there? I'll actually ask a poll question. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'll ask it anyway. Will the rebels take Hama, the city of Hama? I'm going to ask that as a poll question right now. See what you guys have to say. Again, I have absolutely no idea. This is the live UA map you are looking at. Syria.liveuamap.com. I'm going to post a link to that map again. You can go there wherever you want. All right, let's see what people said. I just posted a link to the map. Let's see what people said about this poll question. Let me throw a response up there. Or throw your responses up there. Oops, I forgot to do something. Will the rebels take Hama? On YouTube, we had a vote. We had some people voting. And 74% say yes. On Twitch, the vote right now, will the rebels take Hama, is 68%. Thanks to Space Fraggle so much, and thanks Space Fraggle for shouting out our moderators. Dan Clark says nobody has a clue. Average Norwegian gamer thinks they should be called terrorists, like the Syrian government calls them. You'll need to unlock your iPhone. Oops, sorry. So this is interesting. Hold on, I just saw something here. Oh, sorry, I messed something up. There. All right. So thanks for voting in the poll. I just saw a very interesting report I want to pass along to you. So the report I just saw was that, hold on. I just saw a report right now from Al-Sharq. Al-Sharq is an Arabic language news outlet. They say the Al-Watan Syrian newspaper is claiming that the security office, claiming that a headquarters of the rebel group HTS was targeted in Idlib. And it is believed that the group's leader, Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, was inside it. Now, I haven't heard this anywhere else. Again, a Syrian newspaper is claiming that a headquarters of the leading rebel group, HTS, in Idlib was targeted and that the group's leader was inside it. I have not heard that report anywhere else. I don't really know if that's particularly reliable, but something to keep an eye on. TJ Adams says Russian air raid. I don't know. It doesn't say what the nature of the targeting was. I'll see if I can find the report from Al-Watan, which is the original outlet. Oh, Al-Watan is, I thought it was a Syrian paper. It's an Arabic language newspaper, but it is in Qatar. Oh, I thought it was Syrian. Maybe there's a different Syrian paper. I don't know which one they're talking about. But it says, again, Al-Sharq, which is a big Arabic language news outlet, says Syrian newspaper Al Watan claims a leadership headquarters for the rebel group HTS was targeted in Idlib, and it's believed the group's leader was inside it. Again, that's the first I'm hearing about it. So I don't know if that's true. Could just be false. I'll see if I can find out anything else about it. Steel Penny says Russian and Syrian forces are falling back from Hama. That, I think, was old reporting. The latest reports we've seen is that the Syrian forces have been reinforced in northern Hama and are defending the city. Oh, I have some video to show you. I forgot. This video. Okay, here, check this out. I have some video from AFP for you. Give me a moment. Aftermath of Russian strike. I think this was last night. Aleppo streets after rebels shock assault in Aleppo. So this is video of a Russian strike. I don't know if it's Aleppo or some other opposition. I assume it's where opposition forces are. Oops, sorry. I want to just scroll this down. And also Aleppo streets after a rebel shock assault. Reuters had reported, I'm going to show you this right now. Reuters had said earlier that Russia had conducted strikes in support of Assad. Where is it here? Russia's defense ministry said its air force had carried out strikes on Syrian rebels in support of the country's army. So I don't know where this video is from, but I don't know. You're going to see something in a second, like aftermath of Russian strike. Maybe Aleppo or outskirts of Aleppo. I'm not sure. Here it is. So that is. Again, supposed to be I think I can find out where this is supposed to be. I think we showed a photo of it before. Let's see. Does the photo say where it was? Let's see. This is in Aleppo. This is in Aleppo. According to AP, they have a picture. It might have been it looks like the same place. And so this is after a Russian strike, I think last night on opposition forces in Aleppo. And then that is just, this is more of Aleppo. This is all video from Aleppo. And that is more video from Aleppo after most of it's been taken over by the rebels. Ramadino says, death and destruction, what a shame. Again, more shots of Aleppo. That, I think, is the citadel in Aleppo. It's like a drone shot of it. It's a large medieval fortified palace in the center of the old city of Aleppo, says Wikipedia. And there is a billboard of Assad that was on fire. Shooting a poster of Assad that looked like rebel fighters. That's the rebel flag. More footage from Aleppo. From AFP. I have another video too. There's a... Oh, there we go. The opposition flag has the green stripe and the black stripe. I'm going to show you one more video too. Hold on. Where is this? Just a heads up. The Syrian opposition flag looks like this, with the green stripe and the black stripe and the white stripe and the 3 stars. That's on Wikipedia there. See? The Syrian flag of the government flag of Syria of the regime is that.
Okay. I found this on the web.
Oh, every time I say Syria, it activates my Siri. Let me also there's one other video I have here. Area shots show Syria's Aleppo. Where is it here? Amid shock rebel attack. Ooh, that's the citadel there. The medieval fortress in Aleppo, where rebel fighters were posing last night. I haven't seen this video. By the way, thank you, Peanut Brain of the West, who says that SDF is making gains not shown on your map. Airport South Man Beach. Thank you, Peanut Brain of the West. This is not damage from the past day, by the way. Anything else here? This is just Aleppo. There was an intense battle for Aleppo in the mid-2010s. This is just like footage, I guess, that's been taken recently of Aleppo. All right, well. Oh. Here, that's rebel. That's rebel. See the opposition flags? Those are rebel fighters in here, there's some smoke there. This is Aleppo. There's the opposition flag right there. Billboard of Assad. Oh, I can't play the music. I can't play the music. Might be copyrighted. People celebrating about the opposition forces being in Aleppo. Dutchson says everyone looked pretty happy. Well, I think those are people celebrating the opposition forces taking over there. All right, guys. So what I need to do is, I'm attempting to go to this thing tonight, like this reunion type thing. So I think I'm going to wrap up this stream right now. But I will certainly keep an eye on what's going on. If there's more big developments tonight or some other big news, I can come back on the air and do another stream. But I think I'm going to wrap up this stream right now. So if you missed it, we talked a bunch about the latest developments in Hama and what the Syrian military is saying and a lot of other stuff earlier. So rewind and watch the stream. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in for this stream, and I will certainly bring you more updates on this and other stories, other big stories. And subscribe, follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. I am hoping on a future Syria stream, I'm hoping to have an expert interview, which would be really fun to do and helpful. But hopefully that can happen sometime soon. Also, I will post updates on my X account, which is @Lookner. You can follow me there, @Lookner on X. I will post a link to that. And yeah, subscribe, follow the channel. Also, thanks for sending me news updates, letting me read your comments on the air, writing in, posting in the chat. Really appreciate that. Huge thanks to our moderators. Really appreciate our moderators being here. They are fantastic. They are awesome. We could not have the chats without them. Over there on YouTube, Beth Mythical, Ruth Krafasi, Carms, Roberts May Queen. Thanks so much. All of our other YouTube moderators, Linda Belk and Larry on X. Over there on Twitch, A Moment of Lovely, Bash and Girl, Big Ball of Yarn. LB Prairie Dawn, McBritches and Surly Dev. K. Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Ronald Egnor over there on Facebook. Thank you so much for moderating. Hey, shout out also on Twitch to, I missed some Twitch folks. Thanks, Rain Mist for your support on Twitch. Hello Howdy for subscribing on Twitch. And Moose2271 for your support on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And thanks to everybody who donated. Super nice of you guys. Really nice of you. I really appreciate it. You keep the channel on the air with your support, so thank you. If you ever want to donate to the channel, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But huge thanks. And turn notifications on. I can't tell you when breaking news is going to happen. Who knows when we'll be on next? Could be at 2 in the morning. I have no idea. So we have our notification system. It's free. You sign up once. Then you get sent a notification every time whenever we go live. It's the best way to figure out when we're going live. So the mods will post the link to the notifications in the chat. We do it through Discord. You can also find that link in the Facebook and YouTube description of this video. So sign up for the notifications. Also, another great way to find out when we're going live is Agenda Free TV on X, because I always post there when I know we're going live. So at Agenda Free TV on X, you will get updates on our schedule there. And hey, we also have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. A lot of our viewers like doing that. It's free. It's on Discord. It's the same link as the notifications. So check out the Discord chat, and big thanks to our Discord moderators too. And for you YouTube viewers, make sure you turn on the YouTube notifications, which you need to do in this kind of weird way where you have to hit the notifications bell and choose all notifications. That's just for the YouTube viewers. It's kind of strange. I'll show you if I can real quick. See, you subscribe on YouTube and then you click the bell and choose all. And shout out to our Twitch subscribers. McBritches, Wall Street, Shaggy, all of our subscribers over there, Sharkingly, Chi-Town Bear, Monkey. By the way, thanks to Baptism by Fire for subscribing, for giving out a subscription. Thank you so much. Zambo, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for chatting. Right Said Fred over there on Twitch. All of our other Twitch subscribers, thank you. Voltron Nom, Sandy Doggo, Flop Zor. Thank you, Twitch subs. And our new subscribers, Strokes Reptilia, who got a gift subscription. Also, our Facebook subscribers, like Eve Richards, Diane Allworth, Robert Real II, Margaret Riley, Ronald Egnor, Kay Lowry Body, and all of our subscribers over on Facebook. Thank you so much. I think Valerie Gale Griffin was moderating too. Thank you, Valerie. Our YouTube members, shout out to all of you, such as Left-Handed Patricia Grace, Dean R., Angelina Knox, Chappie, Berenico, Ellie Lassetti, Matt Parker, John, M. Shep, Martin Gingrich, Hassel DeHoff, Gumas, all of our other YouTube members, Vicky Freeman, and our other viewers as well. Bronx Girl, thanks for watching. Judy Smith over on YouTube. Captain Apana, Jeff Sheeta on Facebook. Thanks for watching over there. Artist Caverlin, Nicolette Parker, and our other Facebook viewers. Susan Breeze Bookner, thanks for subscribing, Susan, on Facebook. Thanks, Cami Duda, for watching over there. And all of our other viewers, Limey Show over there on Twitch, Frozen Obscurity, and others. All right, so I'm wrapping this up. But I really appreciate you joining for our update stream. I'm assuming we'll have some more streams on this as developments happen, and we'll cover other news as well. But that is it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage. The last thing is, I think I gave out their address like 10 times, but I'm going to give it out again. Not 10, maybe 5. But Live UA Map, huge thanks to them for letting me use their map. And if you want to check out Live UA Map, where you can get updates about what's going on and an updated map, I will post the link to their map in the chat right now, syria.liveuamap.com. But I really appreciate them. I really appreciate them letting me use their map. So thank you, Live UA Map. All right, guys, that is it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.